Well, hello everybody. It's been a while since I did a video. The last one I did I thought was going to be my last one, but so many people have continued to email and text and what have you requesting one more video, so I caved and decided I would do one last goodbye video, which is what I'm doing right now. It is December 6th, and you are looking at one of my last few tanks that I still have up and running. This is one of the 600-gallon tanks. Currently has umbies and Peruvian green terrors, although not many Peruvian green terrors anymore. There's a few. This female here and right here is probably the last surviving male, I believe. Might be another one, little one, but not quite sure. And then, of course, we have many umbies. We've got a spawning pair. This is the male who's just entering that big cave. He's chasing everybody around. Over there, we've got the female with her eggs, or actually, my mistake, they're fry now. I don't know if you can see them. I'll see if I can get over this direction and see if I can get this thing close enough to where you can see the fry. I'm not sure if you can. They're right below that clay pot there. May be difficult to see, I'm not sure. But there's quite a few of them. And these zombies continue to spawn. I don't raise any of the fry. I'm past that. As most of you know, I am basically retiring from the hobby. Little by little, I'm shutting down tanks, and I guess now, if you look real carefully, right below that male swimming by, you can see some of the fry swimming around. Anyway, so that's what's going on in this tank. And then on the other side, and you can see here a couple of the little ones I have shut down. These here were my fry, where I raised fry in the past. That one and the little 10 below it, I've shut those down. And over here is mostly just convicts now. I put a couple convicts in to keep my big Dovi, give him some company, and keep him from attacking the remaining chanchos and the umbi that were in here. And that's worked, but the problem is, much to my surprise, the convicts were able to spawn quite easily in this tank. I figured that there's no way the Dovi would allow a big population of these. I figured he'd eat the fry, and he does on occasion, but perhaps because he's older and he's well fed, he just doesn't go after these much. And they've gotten used to him, and they're not really afraid of him anymore, so they spawn like crazy. So I think I'm going to be stuck with convicts for a while until I can find somebody who's interested in getting them. And down on this end, you can see my big male Dovi. He's kind of hiding in the corner right now. He'll eventually come out. That's my last chancho right there. The male Dovi, here he comes, is getting to be pretty darn old. I think he may be the oldest one I've ever had. He's a good 13 years old at least. He's got a little scratch on his side, probably scratched himself somehow, but he's doing quite well. Still a good eater, and still seems to have his faculties, and he's a very, very good fish. He's the last remaining sibling of my long-standing male that I had for many years, although this guy has now probably surpassed that guy in size and in age, I think. He's pretty good size. I really have a hard time judging the size of these fish. When they die and I net them out, I'm always surprised just how big they are and how heavy. When his papa died years ago, I have this really big net, and I could barely get him inside the net, and then the net just completely bent and broke when I was pulling it out because he was so heavy. Anyway, it's pretty good that he's giving us a pretty good show here. But I would guess he's in that 24-inch range. And he's doing quite well. It's just surprising that he hasn't ate a few of these convicts, and the convicts just don't seem to be afraid of him at all. Directly below him, you'll see a pair spawning, and they're just spawning all over the place in this tank. So this tank is another one of the two 600s that I will be keeping. Probably, there's no way to get them out of the house. This room that is in my basement was built around it. Once I put the tanks in, we put the walls up after, so the only way to get them out would be to take the walls apart, which I'm not planning to do. At some point when all these fish pass, if they last longer, or if I last longer than they do, we'll probably drain the tanks and use them for another one of our hobbies, which they would be suited for. So anyway, so that's the Dovi, still doing well. And we're going to move on into the garage now, where there's not a whole lot left either. A couple tanks. You can see another one of the 80 has been shut down as well, and it's just got a lot of the old stuff in it. At some point I will get rid of these tanks. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. The bigger one in the basement, or excuse me, in the garage, I have gotten rid of. It's at Shannon's house now, one of my buddies from Seattle. And that's where one of those tanks used to be. Right now it's now just storage room and some more spaces for the kitties to sleep. Eventually, when I get rid of the other one, which is right next to it, we're going to replace this with some more storage. For now, it's just going to be like this. And in here is my last good pair of the green terrors, the proven green terrors. These guys are still spawning. I've got these are younger. I pulled these out of that 600 that you just saw when the remaining parents had spawned here a year or so ago. And now I've got some in here. That's a male and two females, and they spawn quite regularly. The male's really good looking. That's the main reason I've kept this tank up, is I'd like to see if I could get these guys to spawn again. But eventually this tank is going to end up in Shannon's house too. I will probably keep these fish and move them into the 1,000. Once they go in there, though, it'll be very difficult to pull any fry if they did spawn. So that's what's going on over here. There is a couple of another green terror there. This one's a little, his body isn't quite right, but he's still a male and he's still a pretty good looking fish. So I've kept him. He's slightly deformed, but not bad. And then I've got a couple umbies that had fried that I pulled out of that 600 as well, and raising in here. That happens to be a male. And somewhere, oh, there she is. Right there is the female. These fish are all, I think that male umbie is maybe 7 inches. The female's probably 3 or 4. And these green terrors, the male is probably 5, and the females are in that maybe 6, and the females are probably 3 or 4. And I guess Biscuit wants, what do you want, Biscuit? That's my good buddy Biscuit, one of our 3 kitties, Biscuit, Arrow, and Cupcake. And they keep us occupied as well. This is their cat pole that Biscuit's always sitting on when I do my tanks, when I'm cleaning them, whatever. He's a good pal in helping me keep the fish healthy by doing the water changes. And then here, of course, is the 1,000, and still loaded with very healthy green terrors and some umbies. Some of the green, or what am I saying, green terrors, red devils, sorry. And there's also a few red devils that have not turned color, and they're gray. But this tank is doing quite well. There is still, somewhere over in this corner, my blind red male Dovi. I have to hand feed him because it's the only way he can get any food, and he's not very big. It's very hard to find him in this big tank and to get any food near him. As soon as I drop a pellet near him, these other very hardy, I'll call them pigs, red devils, they just immediately eat all the food. So it's hard to get one near them. Anyway, so that's what's going on in this tank. And that's really it, guys. I don't have much else I can tell you other than I really appreciate all the years of you guys watching these tanks, guys and gals, and being interested in my fish. I'm really surprised that I had so many subscribers. I think at one point I had 5,500, maybe 6,000, and all I ever, I picked up my phone when when I first started doing these. I didn't even have a cell phone. I had a little iPod that had you could do videos on. And I found out about YouTube. I thought, yeah, maybe somebody would be interested in seeing my fish. And lo and behold, it grew, and pretty soon there was lots of people, and I had a lot of fun doing these videos. A lot of fun meeting some local folks directly through these fish, and then also making a lot of friends all over the world. Really, I've got. I'm not going to name any names because I'm afraid I might forget somebody, and I wouldn't want to do that. So I've got, I've built up some relationships with people in Europe, Australia, Japan, all over England, and Poland and Germany, and it's just crazy. And of course, virtually every state in the U.S. I've had people send me comments and emails and what have you. So it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed the hobby very much. It's just after 45, 50 years of it, it's time to move on to new things, and that's really about all I can say. Again, I really appreciate everybody's interest, and I've enjoyed doing them. And I guess that's about it, guys. Thanks again for watching. You all take care. Goodbye.